Rave Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Rants and Raves. I'm Steph Beckett. And in our pre InfoComm 2025 series, we've been focusing a lot on a few of the really important sessions you guys should check out at InfoComm, but also some important companies and important products. And we're going to be focusing on that again in this episode. And joining me to help me do that is Yealink's Tyler Chen. Welcome, Tyler.
Thanks, Steph, for having me here for today's sessions. Hi, everyone. My name is Tyler, and I'm the Director of Channel Sales here at Yealink.
Perfect. So, Yealink has been around in the UC space for a while, and you guys have been doing really, really great work. As like one of the kind of leading companies in the UC space, you guys have been really at the forefront of making products that work both for Microsoft Teams rooms, for Zoom rooms. So, can you tell me a little bit about what attendees can expect from you guys and your booth this year?
Thanks for the questions. First of all, it's important to know that our booth number it's at 3861, right? And on top of that, we have been growing with the industry in the past 20 something years. So we have gone through the path of Microsoft Teams rooms, Zoom rooms, and have a lot of video collaboration. And now you probably can't have to yell out AI 3 times per day for whatever reasons, right? So
Yeah.
that's the core topic of this year's InfoComm. It's something around AIs and how do we simplify the way people tackle AIs with no compromise on security. So a lot of new stuff, including our Pro AV solutions, including our meeting board series, and so much more to expect at this year's Yelling booth at InfoComm. So please, again, booth number 3861. That's the most important thing I gotta have to remember in case I missed that out.
Perfect. So I like that you guys are focusing a lot on AI in your booth this year. I mean, of course, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be focusing on AI this year. It's definitely going to be one of the central themes of the show, but I'm interested in seeing how that's a central theme for Yealink. So tell me a little bit about how the Yealink team sees AI when it comes to working with and shaping like communication and collaboration.
That's a great question. So I think throughout the past couple years, we have been emphasized on the importance of AI, and there's a lot of matrix on gauge AIs and how does that impact people's life, right? But I think for this year's InfoComm, the most important two matrix or bullet points is first of all meeting equity and also security, right? One of the things that people will focus on and one of the things that people will be having some little concerns on. We'll address those two kind of bullet points this year's at InfoComm. First of all, meeting equity, right?
Mhm.
One of the differentiators of Yelling is not to just focus on the small, medium rooms at the end of the day, right? The AIs that we collaborate with Microsoft, basically everybody has that sort of AI at this moment here. And if you kind of browse a video bar solutions at InfoComm, you probably have 26 options, right?
Right,
But
like,
we
maybe more than that, probably, like, 75 options.
Yeah, that's the reality, right? So for our client, it's kind of getting confused on how which one of those is probably the best options.
Mhm.
And obviously we have those options, but more importantly, we wanted to emphasize on meeting equity. When we talk about meeting equities, it is that equity that people stepping into every size of the rooms and you are experiencing all types of meeting room at the same one button join button experience. So this year specifically, we focused on pro audio solutions. We wanted to make sure that we tell the story on how do we fix those sophisticated solutions for our AV integrators, IT decision makers, making sure that hey, you like the Microsoft IntelliFront feature with the 4 slots, but can that be replicated into a large conference room, a divisible room setups, and those kind of scenarios? So being able to provide a one-stop solution from small, medium, large, pro AV, divisible rooms. This is the story we would like to tell, right? We don't want it to focus on one specific sectors of hey, small, medium, how's that gonna fix? We want to tell the story of the whole scale of the meeting rooms. But followed by that, right? You have all these great features from Microsoft. Say, for example, Microsoft Teams, IntelliFrame, Copilot, how is that translated your language into text and then into AIs, meaning summaries and all that kind of stuff. It is also important to understand the second bullets and the second points of security. People have a little hesitation on how am I going to embrace this AI, right?
Mhm.
Every manufacturer is talking about AI, but when
Mhm.
I enroll into Microsoft Teams room, Zoom rooms, am I still going to be getting secure on those meetings, especially when meeting has been recorded and translated into text? The answer is yes, right? There's one concept we have been collaborating with companies like Microsoft, for example, called MDEP, Microsoft Device Ecosystem Platform, especially if those people who like the idea of Teams Room on Androids. This is the concept you would like to stop by and have a second conversation with Yelling on what does MDAP mean? How does that bring securities from bridging Androids and Windows into the same kind of experience from a security standpoint? So, in summary, I thought it is very important to mention about a full scale of rooms into meeting equities, but
Mhm.
also how do we address securities on top of that?
Absolutely. I'd love if you talk about MDEP for a little bit too, because you guys are launching a couple of Android solutions, I think, built on the Microsoft device ecosystem platform. And again, those are also that reinforcing that like security on those Android devices. And MDEP is really, really hot right now. So I'd love if you talk a little bit about that.
No worries. So at the end of the day, just to simplify the concept, right? So sometimes there's been enterprise clients. If you're looking for a complex room, you probably have. It's a no-brainer to use Microsoft Teams Room on Windows, right? You have those
Mhm.
multiple integrated parts. But when it comes to small, medium, we see a vast amount of audiences start embracing Androids, but also raising concern about, hey, is that going to give me the same feature sets from a security standpoint, just like Windows? So earlier, not remember if it is last year or the year before, because when we kind of launch a specific concept, we have to work with our partners like Microsoft for a year and a half at least, and even
Yeah.
above. We kind of have to kind of think about how do we streamline security across an Android system. So I think this is the industry efforts to make this happen. It's not just a yelling efforts to make sure and that is democratized throughout all Android devices. To simplify that, basically previously say if Microsoft would like to launch a specific feature, say guest join.
Mhm.
Um, guest join has been available for Windows for years, and there has always been delay from here and there on Androids. And creating scenario like this, right? There's 5 different manufacturers, including Yealink, and every single time we have to work into a three-party triangles, Google's for the ASOP, Microsoft and Yealink. Everybody has to come to an agreement, updates in order to get Android up to date. But now with MDAP being a very collaborative, centralized platform by Microsoft, we as the manufacturers of hardware, we kind of participate into this program and say, hey, here's the security part that has been managing by Microsoft directly through Azure to all those kind of encryptions. Us focusing on the AIs, the way how it performs. So from a software standpoint, it becomes a little bit more centralized into the way that now it has been managing very securely, other than you have to work with 5 different manufacturers for the same updates at the end of the day. So with that, there's a lot more comes with MDEP, and I encourage everybody to stop by the booth and see what we'll be able to come up with on top of the MDEP. And it is not just for video collaborations. We also have a tons of Teams handset that's also MDAP certified across our line cars.
Nice. I know that AV1 is another really popular one for you guys. Do you want to talk a little bit about AV1 too? Is that going to be at the show?
Absolutely. First of all, I'm a salesperson. So when you talk about encoders, decoders, AV switch, I don't know the details, but we have
Right.
a full team of experts in the booth that will walk you through about every single details of those solutions. But in summary, I thought AV1 is again to kind of call back the previous answer that I talked about, meaning equity. We talk about these small, medium, large rooms, and oftentimes we see participants or end user usually fail at the large rooms.
Mhm.
You barely see a lot of failure at the smaller rooms, but you see a lot of large room failure. That was just because of, for example, compatibility, right? You have to look for encoders, decoders. You have to look for DSP. You have to look for ceiling mic tiles, and possibly you have to look for Microsoft Teams Room system. Computer is different. Camera is from a different manufacturers, and when it comes to compatibility, this is where problems usually popping up. AV1 is the ideas of where Yealink provides all single component of everything. So then when it comes to large complex rooms, you'll be able to reside, first of all, Teams certified and Zoom certified, and reside within that one single ecosystems, and democratize those AI features within that one single manufacturer. So when problems pops up, we are the ones to take care of. When anything that doesn't make sense, we are the ones to really resolve that issues. But in summary, AV1 is a solutions that focusing on complex, large, divisible setup rooms, combined, merged rooms scenarios, making sure that we are telling the story of the most sophisticated rooms. And once our audiences understand how easy it is, I easy simplify complex room is never a great. It's probably never like a plug and play. But how
Yeah.
do you make sure that we simplify the process of the audience to understand how easy it is to embrace complex room for Microsoft Teams rooms? It becomes such a much easier decision making process for the small, medium video bar solutions at the end of the day. So AV1 in general is just that one last piece for making the Microsoft Teams rooms and Zoom room experience as the one whole piece.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that you would like to draw attention to or that attendees should look forward to at the Yealink booth this year?
Right. So absolutely. So we actually have a booth tool, and also we have a personalized. First of all, we have a personalized booth tool where you can just use a booking link and then reserve a specific dedicated booth tool where we have people walk you through the whole solutions for 30 minutes, 30-minute sessions. That will be fantastic. It will be dedicated. But on top of that, we also have a product launch together with Microsoft and Intel on the 11th of June, 2:30
Yes.
p.m. We also do have happy hours happening both on 11th and 12th June, same time, 2:30, making sure that you grab some snacks and have some fun here on our Yealink booth. But if there's any else that I would like everybody to remember again, again, and again, it's going to be the booth numbers. That will be 3861, number 3861. That's very important that you stop by the right booth to see the right answer for this year's Yealink solutions.
Awesome. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for being on this episode. I appreciate your time.
Likewise. Thanks so much, Steph. You
And I
have a
look
nice
forward
day.
to seeing you at the show.
Yep.
And again, I'm Steph Beckett, and this has been another episode of Rants and Raves, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Rave Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be okay.